Team, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Let me share. If you can see my screen.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, fine. The user is there. So basically, here you will be filling out the details like user type. So basically, five types of user exist in the system. One is dialog, one is system, communication data, reference, and service. So I'll tell you the purpose. Dialog user is basically the one who is accessing SAP through credentials. Okay. The person from business side also you will be creating under this category. So mostly all the users who is accessing SAP are dialog users. Now system and communication. If you are creating a user for background jobs, RFC connections, so those users you will create it under communication data or system. Like background jobs, you will be using system ID. For any system related activities, you will be creating system IDs. And for any RFC connection, you will be creating communication data. RFC connection means if you are connecting this system to any other SAP system or to any other non-SAP system, then in that scenario, you will be creating one ID in SAP, and that ID you will be sharing with that other system details. Okay, so that that system can connect with this system. So for that purpose, you will be creating communication data user ID, and with this ID you cannot log in using GUI. Okay, so these are background users, and this is also same, you cannot log in with this ID. Okay, but the purpose is different. For system related activities and background jobs, you are creating system user, and for RFC connections, you are creating communication data users. Okay, now the next one is reference user. Reference user is nothing but, let's say you have created one reference user ID in the system for finance team. So next time, whoever is going to get access in finance team, you don't need to give roles every time. So under role section, you will see this reference user option, right? This reference user, you cannot log in with this reference user, but this reference user can give you, basically it will inherit the access. Whatever access this user is having, if I'll put that user ID over here, then this person will receive same access without adding roles to this ID. Okay, so understand the purpose. Let's say I'll create one reference user for all the department: finance, material management, SD, security team. And whenever someone new person joins that team, you don't have to give roles manually. You have to just provide the reference user ID. So reference user ID will transfer his access to the person to whom it is assigned. But you cannot log in through this reference user ID. It's basically defining the roles for a particular team. Understood? Now the next one is service account. So service ID is basically used in for test IDs, because if I'll give, let's say for dialog user, so for with the help of service ID, you can log into the SAP system. Okay, so dialog and service, you can log into the SAP system, but with system, communication data, and reference, you cannot log into the SAP system. And these three is having three different scope of work. In case of dialog and service, service IDs are mostly used in firefighter IDs or test IDs. Why test IDs? Why we are not using dialog users as a test IDs? Because let's say if I'll give password over here, welcome at the rate 123, welcome at the rate 123. Okay, so let's say I have added the password. See, password status is initial password set by administrator. That means whenever this person will log in with welcome at the rate 123 in the system will pop up a screen to change its password. Okay, and once he changes its password, this password status will change to productive password. Okay, now see with service user ID what it will show. See, with service ID, whatever password I have given here, welcome at the rate 123, that same password will work as a production password. So that's the difference between dialog ID and service ID. And what's why we are using it in the test IDs, because whatever password I have given under this new password or repeat password option, that same password will work for this ID. And whenever someone logs in with this ID for the first time, system won't ask you to change your password. That means if it's a test ID and I'm sharing the password with the team members of head count 10, so all those 10 users can use the same password for testing purpose. But let's say if I'll create it as the dialog user, then all those 10 users, the person who accessed this ID on the first place, if he changed that password and did not share with other users, then other 9 users will not be able to access this account because password is already changed by the one of the team members, correct? So that's why we are creating service the test IDs as service IDs. Hope you understand the concept. So there are 5 IDs and there is 5 different types of scopes defined for these IDs. Dialog, business users, all the functional consultants, system related activities, background jobs, communication data, RFCs, reference user for referencing the access to a account, service, test IDs and firefighter IDs. Okay. Whatever policies you have defined in terms of parameters like login related parameters, so all those policies are applicable on dialog account and service account. Okay, system does not follow the policies or parameters whatever you have defined in the system. Communication data follows the policies and parameters, and reference user log on not possible, this does not follow the parameters. So these two users, system and reference, does not follow the password policies or parameters, but these three users follows the password policies and parameters. Okay, understood? Okay, now I'll change it to dialog under user group. So basically this user group and the group that you are providing under this tab, groups tab. So here also you can provide the user group. So what's the difference between these two? So whatever you are providing in this user group, you can use it for authorization purpose. Okay, but whatever user group you are providing under this groups tab, this you will be using for your reporting purposes. So let's say if I'll add a finance group over here, or I'll search an existing group, let's say super. So I can use reporting purpose. During reporting, I can search this user under super user group. So let's say if I'll search report with the help of user groups, then I'll see this user under this super user group. Okay, so this tab is basically for reporting purposes. Whenever you want to create, like this user belongs to finance team, then you can create a finance user group and assign this user under finance user group. Okay, so next time if business is requesting you to share the data of all finance team members, so you can run the report at user group level. Just run the report at user group level by entering the value finance, and you will see all the users listed under the finance team. So that's the basic understanding or purpose of this group tab. Okay, now if I'll go back to this option, this user group option, so whatever I am providing here, like say hi, so this hi option you can use it in your authorization object concept, so that I'll be discussing in the detail. further, but this user group, you can use it for authorization purpose also. So under roles, you can restrict user on group level. Okay. So let's say this user belongs to high. So in SU01, there is a object called S underscore user underscore GRP as user group. Okay. So this is one authorization object through which you can restrict your activities. Let's say for high, you don't have access to create users, but for other two user group, you can give access to create users. So how it will work? So next time, if you are creating a user group under super, you can create it. But if you are creating a user group under high, you will not be able to create that user group. Or you can take one more example. If an existing user exists in the system and that user belongs to high user group, so you will not be able to change that user. Okay, because you don't have access to change users under high user group. But if a user belongs to super user group, then you already have access to super and ABAP in, so you can change those users. So that's the purpose of having this user group in your system. Even this user group, you can use it for reporting purpose, but there is one additional activity you can perform using this user group, and that is authentication. Oh, sorry, authorization. Okay. Now valid from valid to, you can provide the validity for this user from today's date. So you cannot create user in backdated. Whatever today's date, system will automatically accept that date. And valid to, you can put 31/12/9999. Okay. Account number, cost center, all those details you need to fill if you have those details with you. Now the next one is SNC. So under SNC name, you have to go to change option. So here you can see. So this option is basically enabled if your system is SSO enabled. What is SSO? Single sign-on. Okay. So you can log in SAP without credentials. Then which option you will be using? There are multiple options available in SAP, but mostly we are using Windows credentials. Okay. So in that scenario, so basically that if your SNC is activated, you will see this SNC is not active on this application. But if SNC is active, it will show you SNC is active on this application server, and this red button will turns to green option. Okay. And after that, I'll tell you some steps. P:/CN is equal to your user ID. Z Rajesh, comma OU. So somewhere you will see the code will start something like this. P:/CN is equal to itne, your user ID. Somewhere you will see this, basically this portion you will see everywhere. P:/CN is equal to your user ID. Okay, so this option will be available in all your scenarios. But after this, in some organization, you will see OU is equal to, let's say, PAPSI. Then DU is equal to something like this. Somewhere you will see this much of detail. Somewhere you will see up to OU is equal to PAPSI. Somewhere you will see up to Rajesh. Okay, so that depends on how you have defined your SNC naming architecture. Okay, so that's the part of basis tree. They will provide you the naming convention for this SNC name, but it looks like this one only. Okay, this is just for your information. If your SNC is active, then you can provide this naming convention over here or provide the statement. And once you hit enter, this will turns to canonical name identifier. Okay. And if you will select this option, allow password logon for SAP GUI user specific, then even with SSO systems, user can access with credentials as well. But mostly we are not allowing, because if SSO is enabled, why you need to log in with credentials? But in some scenarios, let's say if password is not working or SSO is not working for that account, then in that scenario, you can allow this access for the duration till the time that issue is not fixed for that account. Okay. Now the next option is defaults tab. Here you can provide all the defaults related access, like your decimal notation. So three types of notation is there. You can select appropriate notation. Then after that, date format, your logon language. If you are using some other language apart from English, then in that scenario, you can select that language. Okay, whatever language you want to use in SAP, that language option, you can select it from here. Okay, and after that, time format, 24-hour format, 12-hour format. So this thing you can check with that person and update it. Okay, after that, mostly if output device is not available, this is the generic output device you can use in all your scenarios. LOCL is nothing but common output device, and whatever nearest printer is available to your desk, that printer will be automatically selected if you select this option. Okay, but this option needs to be activated by base system. Right now it's not activated. Okay, so that's why you cannot select it. After this, you have two options: print now, delete after output. So print now is nothing but, if you select this option, you will see, if you click on print screen on your screen, on any of the screen in SAP, that will enable the print now tab, and you will see a print preview option on that tab. Okay, and once you click on OK, that print will be enabled on the system with the nearest printer. Delete after output. Once print is done, it will delete the output. You can select your time zone, system zone. It will show you system zone as well. Cat. So this is nothing but for test scripts. This we will discuss later. Okay, now the next one is parameters. Parameters are defined by functional teams. So they will share the details with you. Let's see if any existing parameter is there. Yeah, a lot of parameters are there. So you can select one of these parameters. So basically all these parameters are created by functional team. So whatever you will feel they are sharing that this parameter must be set up for this account, those parameters you can select it here and provide the values. Okay. Right now I don't have any parameters to select, so I'm just deleting these parameters. Okay.
What
Now the next one is,
what is the purpose of that parameters?
so these parameters, in some cases, these parameters belongs to default values. Let's say there is a field in SAP. Let's say one transaction you are executing FI09. Okay, and that the code will give you some additional fields like purchase order number description. Then in some scenarios, those fields are pretty much uh, drop down kind of things. Okay, so in that scenario, if that's a drop down option, so and for that drop down in your business you will be using one scenario only. Okay, so instead of selecting that drop down manually and selecting that value again and again for all your tasks, they will create one parameter for that option. Okay, and you will provide that value, that initial value. So whenever you will log into FI09 and that screen will comes up, that value will be automatically selected. Okay, so parameter is nothing but you are defining a field value in the system for all your transactions. So that's the purpose of defining the parameters. You can use parameters in other variants also, like in some reporting purpose you can define the reporting export option also. And you can define that reporting what it called layout also. So those layout also you can control it through parameters. So there are multiple use cases for this parameters ID, for defining the default value of a field in a transaction, for defining the layouts of a report, for defining the output type for a report in the system. So multiple other use cases are also there, but these are some of the cases that in those cases you can use this parameter. So it's up to the functional team how they want to use that parameter ID. Okay, Emma, understood?
Yeah, good.
Okay, so now the next tab is for assigning the roles. So right now we are discussing this user ID and password concept. So that is authentication. And if we are creating new roles and assigning these roles to a user, those are authorization concept. So for that, let me search our existing role. So these two existing roles I have selected out. So over here you will see that these two are single roles. Okay. And these two are direct assignments. This thing we will discuss in detail. But see, if I am assigning a composite role, that we will discover in the later session. Okay, so apart from this, you will see these two options: start date and change end date. So start date is today's date by default, but you can assign roles from the previous date also. Because let's say if you are copying an existing user to a new user, that existing user will be having start date as in the past only, but you can create new user with those start date also. So past assignment is allowed in roles tab, but you can change this end date also. Okay, so let's say you want to give access to this user for this role for 5 days, then you can change this end date. Let me copy paste this, and then we will change it to 5 days. So today is 1st May. For 5 days it will be 6th May. Okay, so now this access will be given to this user for 5 days. So that's how you can control this role specific access to a user. Okay, and I already told you each and every role in SAP holds a profile, and that profile will be automatically assigned to this user. See, these two profiles are automatically assigned. If I'll delete one of the roles, you will see that one of the profile will be deleted. See, under profile section, you can see only one profile. Okay, so each and every role in the system is having one profile associated to it. Okay, and that profile will define, and that profile will help SAP in understanding the authorization objects or T code, whatever needed for this user. So role is for our understanding, security team understanding, and profile is for SAP understanding. If you are not creating profile and you are just assigning the roles, then access will not work for that user account, because role is the front end for this application and profile is the backend access. Until and unless SAP does not understand what all you have given to this user account, that access will not be activated in the system. Okay, so profile is mandatory. Now the next tab is groups tab. So this is basically you can create multiple groups and you can assign this user to multiple groups. And this tab is basically used for reporting purposes. Okay. Next one is personalization. So here you can define your personalization. So this tab is mostly used in case of supplier relationship management, customer relationship management, where you are defining approvals on amount of the approval page. Okay, so all those configuration you can do it through here. Mostly we are not using this tab, but configuration is possible for user accounts through this tab. So if let's say if that application allows you to personalize the person's abilities to do something in the system, that option you can enable or change from this tab. Just now I tell you one example. So in supplier relationship management, there is an option of approving the amount of POs. So let's say PO, purchase order. So that amount you can finalize here. From which amount to which amount this person can approve the purchase order. So that option you can enable here. Okay. And after this, let's say there is a PO coming and that amount exceeds from this user's ability, then user cannot approve that PO. So all those configuration you can do it here. Okay. Now the next one is license tab. License tab is basically if a user is created in SAP, so that user must be a licensed user. Otherwise, you are part of non-compliant. Okay. So whatever licenses you have purchased in the system, out of those licenses, you have to select one license appropriate for this user. How you will define the licenses? Based on your access. Whatever access you are having in your system, based on that, a license is identified and assigned to your account. For all the consultant related access, professional license is used. For all the developer related access, developer access license is used. Developer is nothing but the one who is doing development in the system, who is creating some new task in the system, who is creating some new reports in the system, who is creating or doing changes in some standard SAP transactions. Okay, so all those team members comes under developer access. Apart from that team, anyone belongs to functional team, basis team, or security team comes under professional use. Okay, and apart from this, your business users can be defined based on their usage. For engine use, if a person belongs to team, that person can be assigned to engine use. Okay, this HR team member. And then information user, this is information user is nothing but if you have given reporting related access to account in SAP system, that is an information user. This operational user is nothing but production planning user. So based on your access, you will be defining the licenses in the system. Let's say if I'll select this license for this user, so this license will be selected, and once I click on save, this license will be activated for this account. Understood? Let's save this account. Okay, so now this user exists in the system. Now I'll show you this change option. So just now we used create option. Now you can change this user because this user exists in the SAP system. If you want to update something, if you want to give new roles to this account, so now all those activities you can perform this on this user ID. Okay. Now the next option is display. If you don't want to perform any change activities, you can display this account. Next one is delete. If you want to delete this account, system will give you a pop-up. User Rajesh is to be deleted. Mail user will also be deleted. If I'll click on yes, then this account will be deleted in the SAP system. But I'll not select it. After this, you will see this copy option. So let's say if I'll use this option, Z Rajesh to Z Rajesh 1. You will see this. All the tabs which we are getting at the time of creation, all those tabs is enabled for you. Address data. Do you want to copy the address data tab? If you click yes, then whatever data is there in Rajesh tab, okay, that whole data will be copied to Rajesh 1 tab. Okay, in the same way, whatever data is there in defaults tab, all those data will be copied to Rajesh 1 tab. So whatever tabs you have selected, let's say if I'll deselect this address tab, then that means I'm saying SAP to copy address data tab. I'm saying that accept address data tab, please copy rest all tabs data to Z Rajesh. Okay, so if you have selected that, tab related data will be copied to your new user. Otherwise, system will ignore that tab if you have deselected that option. Okay, and once you click on this icon, see. So apart from address data tab, see this Z Rajesh one. Why it's coming? Because last name is a mandatory field. That's why system has copied user ID to this last name, but you can change it. Apart from this, you will see that we have given email ID to that account, but that email ID is not copied because we haven't copied address data. But apart from this, rest all data is copied. See, user group high, validity from today's date to 31/12/9999. SNC tab is a user specific tab. So this option is not enabled during copy of a account. Then we have given one role. So role is also copied. Profile is also copied. So everything is copied. Whatever you have selected, that option is copied. And whatever you have deselected, that option is not copied. So I am not going to save it. So this is just for your understanding purpose. So this copy user. After this, you can lock or unlock user. See the status right now. If you go to this logon data tab, you will see password status is initial password set by administrator, and you will see you are not getting any lock option. So after security policy, a new statement will be added over here. If you lock this user account is logged. Let's see. Let me lock this user ID. Right now it shows that not locked. But if you click on this lock icon, account will be locked. Let's see. Display and go to log on data tab. See, user is logged, correct? Because just now I logged this user. So now what you can do it? You can unlock this account. So right now logged by system manager, so you can unlock this user. Okay, click on display and click on log on data tab. Now this user is not logged. So there are two types of logs in the system. One is system log, one is administrative log. The log which we have performed in this user is a administrative log. Now the second one is incorrect password logon attempt log. Okay, so let's say you have entered your password incorrect 3 times. After that, your account will be logged, and the status of that log will show here, and the status will be incorrect logon attempts failed log. Okay, so you can unlock that user in the same way. You can click on this lock icon over here. System will show you that incorrect logon attempt log, and then you can unlock this user. Okay, so that option will be there. If you don't want to go inside this users tab and change that password, so you can change password through these two options. One is this change password option, or you can change it from the inside screen. Go to change icon, go to logon data tab, and here you can provide your new password. So that password option you can change it from here also. Okay, so that's all about SU01. Any questions?
No.
So like when we are saving after completing all the details, right? Like how do we confirm it was saved or and, so we didn't get any pop-up for right? So that's what.
No, so once you save any account, system will show you data is saved in the down screen.
Achha, achha, okay, okay. That is
Okay,
only
so
the
let's say if I'll create this new account using this Rajesh, I'll create one new user and I'll copy the entire data. See, and once I click on the save icon, see, enter an initial password, I'll generate. So these two options I'll also cover. So this generate option will generate your password of 40-digit 48 characters password. Okay, so this will be your new password. Okay, and if you will select this icon deactivate, then your password option is deactivated. Okay, so you can no longer use your password to access SAP system. Okay, so let me generate your password and then save it. You will see that icon. See, user Rajesh1 created.
okay, got it.
Okay, so next time now you can display this user. So after today's session, you can try to create some of the user IDs, test IDs in the system.
Also, we don't have any mandatory like kind of in all those fields like with asterisk or with red color, like mentioning for the mandatory fields.
So for mandatory options, I'll tell you this last name is a mandatory field. Okay, without last name, you cannot save your user. Your password is a mandatory field. Without password, you cannot save your user. These two are mandatory fields, and rest all you can choose as per the requirements.
So there is no specific kind of fields.
Sorry?
I mean to say like as part of like with other applications, right? It shows like in asterisk in red color.
So maybe this is not a licensed software, so that's why you are not getting that option. But mostly you will see that star will come here. Let me create this user ID z create c. So see this option is coming. So this is a mandatory field. The tick you can see, right? That's a mandatory field.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say if I'll save it, system will give you error. Enter an initial password and you must specify the last name of a user. So these two tabs are mandatory tabs. If I'll put test over here, now if I'll save it, you will see one error is removed, enter an initial password. If I'll generate the password, save, now this account is created in the system. Understood? So only two things is mandatory in SAP.
We can define the password.
You can enter password on your own or you can select the system generated password. So there are two ways to give password. Let's say I can enter password manually over here. welcome@12345, whatever I want to set up. Or you can use this option. This is a generate option given by SAP. Instead of entering password manually, you can use this option. System will give you that this is the new password for this user. That's a 48 character password, and you can share it with the user. Okay, so that's how it goes. Any other questions, team? Okay.
like a bit of suggestion from your side. So, like, how about this SAP Analytics Cloud? Like a few of other you got references, like as the kind of new upgrade, uh, they received like a SAP Analytics Cloud. Is this an existing already,
So
or
SAP Analytics Cloud is basically a cloud specific application used for reporting purposes.
okay? So reporting purpose.
Uh,
It's
So
like a
under
report.
SAC, so SAC is mostly running on top of BW system. So BW is nothing but your reporting software. But
Okay.
in BW, you cannot do or you cannot do the reporting related stuff for the front end application. Like you cannot change your reporting structure, front end reporting structure. You cannot use all those pie charts and other stuff in ABAP application. But all those things is possible in SAC. So you can connect yours that SAC account with your BW system, and on top of your reporting architecture, you can create your look and feel better with the help of SAC. So over there you can create pie charts. Over there you can create reporting level stuff like pie charts and other things. So that reporting architecture you can make much more easier to understand from business perspective or management perspective. But that particular application will be using SAP data to create the reports. That's how it goes.
Okay. Also, like few of them says like on all these modules which we are inquiring on GRC or functional other modules. Na? They say like most of the modules are kind of saturated now, and it's kind of openings are a bit less. So, any is this a reality, or how can we get the jobs like?
So basically, all these modules are interrelated. So let's say finance is related to MMSD, then these modules are related to some other modules. So everything is interrelated in the system. So if you are so in SAP, if you want to get a job, okay, so that particular person must be knows the basics of the system. Let's say which team is doing what, and apart from that, that person must be specialized for a particular training. Let's say that person belongs to MM, then that person should go to SAP trainings, understand what all processes business is following in SAP and once he is aware of all those things, then he can go for the interview. But specialization is required in SAP. If you are going into security, then security related stuff you must be aware. Okay. So overall learning is there. So let's say which team is doing what. And apart from that, whatever technology you are interested in, you should be having a deep understanding of that particular field. Let's say finance understanding should be there. And apart from that, what all finance related things you can perform in SAP, all those things you must be aware, that configuration, testing part, which all transaction is involved. Like, yeah, right now you are working in security. So what all transaction is related to security, which all tables is related to security, what all parameters is related to security, what all configuration steps is related to security. So all those things you must be aware of. Then only you will be called as a security consultant.
Sorry, I was disconnected due to low battery. Sorry.
Okay. So basically I'm saying, let's say from job perspective, so there are two things in SAP. One is generic access or generic understanding of SAP. So what is SAP? What all you can perform in SAP? Which all applications is connected to SAP? Which all fields you can work in SAP, like finance team. Under finance, what all activities you can perform? So this is the generic understanding. But let's say if you are looking for a job in SAP, then you must be a pro in one of the areas. Pro means you must aware end-to-end process related to that functionality. Let's say right now you are working in security. Okay, so you must be aware all the reports, all the tables related to security stuff. You must be aware of all the T codes related to security. You must be aware of all the configuration steps related to security. You must be aware of all the activities that business is looking in terms of a security consultant. So all these things you must be aware of if you are a security consultant, and then only you will be called as a security consultant. So configuration steps, tables, standard transactions, and what all critical activities belongs to security team. So all those things, if you are aware of, then you are a security consultant. But if you knows finance related configuration, finance related T codes, finance related to finance related activities, finance related test cases, finance related business cases. So if you are pro in that area, then you are not a security consultant. You are a finance consultant, SAP finance consultant. So that's how a person is identified in SAP. That person must be having generic understanding of all the areas and pro understanding of one of the fields in SAP. Then that particular field is known for that user as a consulting area. Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions, team? Okay, let's start PFCG. So this SU01, so whatever you are executing here, it's a T code field. Just now I execute slash n SU01. So if you are executing SU01 on an initial screen, then system will accept it. But if I'll execute SU01 on any other transaction screen, then system will not open the transaction. At that time, you have to use slash n or slash o. Slash n is nothing but you are instructing SAP to open this new transaction in the same screen. Close my existing transaction and open this new transaction. And if I am using slash o, then you are instructing SAP to open this new transaction in a new screen, keeping my existing transaction open. So keep my existing transaction open and open this new transaction in a new screen. Okay. These two are the abbreviations for all the T codes. If I am using slash NEX, if I'll hit enter, then my SAP session will be closed. All my SAP sessions will be closed related to the system. Okay. Now let's run slash npfcg. Okay, before this, let me cover tables related to SAP. So in SAP, how you will access tables? There is one transaction slash n SE16 or SE16n. SE16 is the old transaction and SE16n is the new transaction. So I'll use this SE16n or I'll use SE16. This T code does not exist in GRC. SE16. Okay, here you can provide the tables name. So tables related to user starts with USR 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, up to 25 or 26 tables are there. If you will search it with USR start. So in SAP, each and every field is having a search option. You can provide a star and use this icon. The same way you can search in SU01 also. Z Rajesh. If I'll click on this icon, let me put Z Rajesh star. Okay, and use this icon and hit enter. So there are multiple options through which you can search a user. User ID, responsible, short description. Then you can search with address data. If you don't know the user ID for Rajesh, let's say Rajesh ID you don't know, but you know the first name, last name. So we created this user with test fn, right? Let's search this account. You will see that Rajesh is coming, right? We created two copy users. That's why two users is coming. So that's how you can search the data. Log on data, you can search with the validity date, user type, user group. So everything is possible with the search option. Whatever search option you can use that search. In the same way, you can use search option over here also. Let's see which all tables is there. See, USR 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 till 20. I think it's more than that also. 40, 41. So all these tables related to till 21 or 22 belongs to SAP. Okay. Each and every table holds different tabs of a user's data, like this logon data tab, user master record, user with user group, user with address data tab, user master authorization, user master parameters ID. So all these tables belongs to SAP. So let me search with this logon data tab. Hit enter, name, enter Z Rajesh. This one and execute it. This will give you a lot of data. Who created this account? This is the ID. If you want to see the actual names, go to this user parameters and select this field label. Right now you are seeing this A name, ER date, TR date, flag account. So this you cannot understand it directly. So you need table labels. Now if you will go to this creator, who created this ID is GRC12 new 40M. That's my user ID. On which date this account is created? On 1st May 2025. Today is 1st May 2025. So all these details you can refer in tables also. So these tables are available here. If you want to do some changes over here, look and feel. So you can select this setting icons, go to this user parameters and select this ALV grid display. Now this list will change in this format. This is much more readable format than that. Okay, so all these tables are used for multiple purposes. What type of data you are looking in SAP, for that purpose, either you can use SU01 to check the data, or you can use tables. Okay. Now let me open USR 06 Z Rajesh. User type from date to date. That's not coming. See what all you guys. Okay, that is for firefighter ID. Okay, so this is basically for licensing purpose. So right now this Rajesh does not have any license, so that's why license is not coming for this user. USR 21. This is that Z Rajesh Z Rajesh. Okay, so that all these details, this person ID, address number. So whatever is relevant to you, that is you can get it from these tables. So all these tables belongs to user specific transactions. Okay, now let's go to PFCG. PFCG is the transaction code for roles part. Just now we saw user, now PFCG is for roles part. Here also you will see multiple options. This is for creating single role. This is for creating composite role, change and display. Okay. Then you can copy role, delete role, transport roles. This we will discuss, and rest all the same. Okay. So let me create one role for this user, Z underscore test. So in SAP, you will see 4 kinds of role. One is single role, one is composite role, and one is master derived role. Master and derived both are single roles. So that's why you will see only two role creation options. Just a minute. So under single, you will be creating 3 types of roles: single role, master role, and derived role. But under composite, you will be creating one type of role, that is composite. Okay, so let me create one single row. Test, you can provide any description, and over here you will be assigning the T code. C, transaction. In SAP, everything is controlled through transaction codes. Just now I execute SU01 for user maintenance. Then I execute PFCG for role maintenance. So all the things are interrelated with the help of transactions. Everything is controlled with the help of transaction. If I want to give access to a user, then this T code option will be there, right? Then SU01 is the T code. That means I'm allowing access for this role with the help. So this role will be having access to this transaction SU01. Okay, understood? So I'll assign this transaction to this row. That's how you can assign the transaction. If you want to assign multiple T codes, add it over here. This option will be there to copy from your clipboard. Let's say 500 entries you need to enter. So you cannot enter it manually, right? One by one. So just copy paste your 500 entries from Excel sheet. Use this icon. All your 500 entries will be added to this list and click on assign transactions. Okay, right now it's blank. That's why you cannot add it. But let's take an example. I am just giving access to SU01. Now, this is what? This is your front-end architecture. Even here, you can create your description field, your description. You can provide what, based on which request you are working over here, what's the purpose of creating this new role, what all access you are just giving under this role. Let's say time to time, if you are updating or doing changes under this role, then you can mention the date and provide the ticket number, provide the reason, and provide what all changes you had done on that date. So this is basically a kind of diary under which you are maintaining your change logs. Okay. Over here, you have to give your transaction codes. Now the next tab is workflow. You haven't configured any workflow. So basically this tab we are not using because workflow is controlled through functional configurations. Okay. Under authorizations tab, I already told you that each and every role is having a profile, correct? So once you generate your role, then a profile will be suggested by SAP. And once you save and generate it, that profile will be assigned to this role. Right now it's blank, right? So let's click on this change authorization data. Okay. Each and every T code in SAP is, so over here you will see some things, right? These things is nothing but your authorization objects. Okay. Let me activate settings, show technical names, save. Okay. Now see, in SAP, you will see each and every T code is associated with this authorization object. This authorization object is nothing but associated with all the T codes. Whenever you are executing a T code in SAP, how SAP will understand that whether this user is having access to this T code or not through this authorization object, S underscore T code. If you have access to S underscore T code with that transaction value, so just now I have added SU01, then SAP understood that user is allowed to use SU01 transaction. Okay, but apart from this, you can restrict some other authorization objects for that particular T code. Like over here, you can see S user AGR and S user GR. So this concept we will be getting from SU24. Let me open SU24 also. So for this T code SU01, these three options is coming automatically. So these three options is coming from SU24. This is another transaction. If I'll put transaction as SU01 and execute it, so you will see three options, right? And that's why three options is added over here. Okay, why three options? If you can change the values over here, but for standard transaction code, we are not doing any changes. But if you are working on ZT codes, then only you will do the changes. Okay, because for ZT codes, SAP does not know which ZT code you have created in the system and what all values you have enabled. So for those scenarios, you can enter your ZT code over here, and then once you execute it, let me execute it, and then you can go to this change mode, and with the help of this object indicator object, add authorization object. So you can add your authorization objects over here. Okay. Here you will see two options. One is check indicator, check, and do not check. Check means whenever you will execute this T code, this authorization will be checked in the system. Okay. Check means this authorization will be checked. Do not check means this authorization object will not be checked. Okay. Now there is one more indicator that is called proposal indicator. Okay. Yes means this object will be automatically added in role whenever you will add this transaction. And no means this object will not be added in the role whenever you will add this transaction. Understood? This thing no means, so for S underscore T code, it's a generic term. So even if you mark it as no, only the value will be added under S underscore T code. But let's say if there is any other authorization object which mark it as no, then that authorization object will not be added in the role. Right now, both the objects is marked as yes. So you can see both the objects is available here, S user AGR and S user GR. If I am adding any new object, then that object will be added over here. Okay. So from this SU24 entries, you are getting these values. Okay. And what all you need to fill? Even you can fill the values also. Let's say if I'll just double click on this, you will see values as blank, but you can provide values also. If you want, you can provide values here. Like activity, you can provide 03, 08, 02, whatever you want to give, and then save it. That's it. Once you save it, next time if you add SU01 to a new role, then that value will be added automatically. Understood? So these authorization objects is coming from SU24 configuration. Check indicator is basically for check and do not check. And proposal indicator is basically whether you want to add that authorization object automatically for that particular T code in role or not. Okay, and if you want to give values also, you can give values as well. Okay, based on your configuration, you will see the data in roles. Once you maintain the data, so this green means values are maintained. Yellow means values are not maintained. So you have to maintain the values. Let's say if I'll give action usage group. So previously I told you that there's one object called SUser GRP, right? Through which you can restrict your access. So this class is nothing but those three groups, right? Let's say if I'll give super and ABAP, then user will be able to this create change activity. Add or create means you can create user, change means you can change user, display means you can display user, lock means you can lock user, delete means you can delete user, display change documents, you can assign roles, extended maintenance, move model, assign. So you can select whatever activities you want to give to this user. Okay. And he can perform all these activities for these two user groups. Previously we discussed, right? There is a user group tab in logon data tab. So that user group, whatever user group that user is having, only those if that user group matches with these two user groups, then you can perform these activities. Otherwise, system will give you an authorization error. Correct? So this is the authorization object for that particular case. Okay. So in the same way, you can fill out the values. Let's say if you don't want to fill values manually, you can just double click. System will give you a star. Star means no restriction. Activity, star means no restriction. So I'll explain this activity. 01 is for creation or addition access. 02 is for change access. 03 is for display access. Let's say if someone is requesting a T code in display mode, then you won't give this 01, 02, you will give 03, 08 and F4. F4 is not displaying here. F4 is for basically for search option. So 03 display, you can display the data. 08 change display change documents. Whatever change documents you want to display related to that transaction, you can display those things. and F4 is basically for search option. If F4 is available, you can enable it, otherwise you can ignore it. For display related access, these three are the activities that you should give to a user. In case of create or change access, you can provide access as per the need. Okay, so this activity field is very much critical for roles. Whenever you are creating a role in SAP, all the objects related to that must be in green color. See, right now its status is red, all maintained. If I'll save it, you will see. Just now I tell you, whenever you will save a role in the system, system will create a profile for that particular role. Profile for role Z test. If I'll click on OK, then a profile is created. Now if I'll generate it, profile created. Now let's go back and see. See, previously this profile name is blank. Now that profile name is created and assigned to this role. Now next time whenever I will assign this role to a user, user will be able to access SU01 and this profile will be automatically assigned to that user. Now let's go to change mode again. See, everything is in green color. Okay, I don't know why it's showing red, yellow, but we have maintained everything. So this should be also in green color, but here it's showing green. So it looks good. Okay. Now there are two options. This change authorization data. So this you will use whenever you are creating new rules. But if you are changing an existing rule, then at that time, if you have added any new entry in the menu tab, then you should use this option. Over here, you will see three options. This edit old status is nothing but this option. Okay. Delete and recreate profile. If you want to delete the entire profile and recreate profile from beginning, then you can select this option. But if you have added any changes in existing role in menu, let's say one Z test already exists. Now, if you add a new T code under this menu option, let's say just now we have added HU01. Now, if you want to give PFCG access also, so you can add PFCG over here, and at that time you have to select this option, read old status and merge with new data. Why? Because under this option you are instructing SAP, do not change my existing authorization objects. Whatever authorization objects is coming from PFCG, just add those authorization objects as new, and if we can merge it with existing data, then I am okay with that. So let me show you one example. Okay, let's go to this transaction code and I'll add PFCG. Okay. Now go to this. See, now I am going to use this. Save it first. I'll be using this option called read old status and merge with new data. You will see status of this update status. See, updated or old. Old means these values are coming from SU01 only. But if something is updated, you can see updated value. Updated means under S_T code, PFCG is added. If you will see something called new, then that object is coming from PFCG. Okay, so that's how you can identify which object is coming from PFCG and which all objects is coming from SU01. But in case if you will use this change icon, just a minute, now it will not show you. So basically this option you should use. Right now it's showing edit old status. See, under edit old status, you won't see that values, right? So that values will not show you. Okay, and this same thing applies to this option also. If you will use this option, then system will not show you which all objects is added newly and which all objects is updated and which all objects are old. So that's why whenever you are doing changes, then you should use this third option. And in rest all cases, you can use these two options. If someone is facing issue, then you can use this option, delete and recreate profile and authorizations. Okay, so what will happen? This profile will be deleted, and again this same profile will be created with updated authorizations and other stuff. So that's how it goes. Once you save it, then we are good. Showing red. Okay, I have to generate it. Okay, fine. Now it's in green color. Okay, so everything must be in green color. Menu tab should be green. Authorizations tab should be green. Okay, now there are two ways to assign role to a user. One is through SU01 roles tab, and the second one is through under roles. There is a tab called user. Over here, you can also assign users. You can add the user ID. Username will be automatically popped up. Then from date and to date. Okay, and after assignment of user in this tab, you have to click on this user comparison. Let's say if I'll assign it to Z Rajesh, Z Rajesh, hit enter. See name of the date coming. Let's say if I'll save it, just now this option is green, right? Now it says you have to do the user comparison, and user is yellow. So I need to run this user comparison. Click on complete comparison. Now you will see user comparison is green and user is also green. Save it. That's done. So whenever you are assigning a user to a role, then this option must be used. Okay. But in case if you are assigning user, you are assigning role to a user via SU01, then that option is not required. Okay. But from role, this option is required. Okay. So that's the difference. Till here, any questions? So this is we have created one single role. Now this role is a single role as well as master role. How come this is a master role? If I am considering this role as a master role, then I have to create a derived role. How you will create a derived role, and what's the purpose of creating derived role? Single role is nothing but a role that is defined for all the locations. Okay, single role is something like you are not restricting that role based on your organizational levels. Which all organizational levels is available in SAP, like company code, like plant, organizational, organizational values like sales organization. So all these values comes under org level. Okay. So I'll show you which all options is available. So let's go to change mode. See organizational levels. Right now I don't display. Okay. Let me run one. Organizational levels. So if you want to create roles based on these org levels, okay, so instead of creating roles manually, you can use master and derived concept. Okay, see all these values you can derive your roles. One is chart of depreciation, asset class, applicant group, applicant range, work center, aspect, order type, company code, user group, MRP controller, purchasing group. So all these values, like over here, you will see company code also. Where is that company code? Company code. Then sales organization, shipping point, distribution level, plant. So instead of creating, so let's say you are having, your business is having 120 plants in their structure. So instead of creating 120 roles for each and every plant, you can create one master role and derive, and that master role you can derive for all those 120 locations. Understand the purpose why we are creating master roles, master and derived roles. Master role is nothing but a single role. But instead of creating master roles for all these 12 locations, it's a big task. You have to create that role again and again. You have to fill out all the transaction codes again and again. You have to manually fill all the authorization object values again and again for all those 110 roles. Instead of doing that, you can create one master role and you can derive that role for all those 110 locations. Have you understand the purpose of creating master role and derived roles? Team, any questions on single role?
Yeah.
Okay. So this role is currently a single role, but let me derive this role. How you will derive? Z test. I'll copy this role. And let's create one new single role. Z test underscore CC company code 1000. Okay, I'm creating this new role. Now this role is a derived role of Z test master role. Okay, click on single role. Here you will see this Z derived from role. So here I am putting the master role. Before this step, this is a master role. This is a single role because I haven't derived this role. I haven't used this role for derivation, right? So that's why this before this step, this is a single role. But just now I have added this role for derivation. Now this is a master role. Okay. So that's the difference between master role and single role. If I'll now this says delete inheritance relationship. No, you should not delete it if you are deriving a role. Now, if I'll just go to menu tab, you will see that both the T codes which we have added under this role is automatically added over. Let me enable that option. Technical names on. Switch on technical names. Just a minute. This is the one. Okay, see. So previously we have added two T codes, SU01 and TFCG. That's why both the T codes is automatically added. Now if I'll go to this screen called change authorization data, you will see that I am still getting one green and rest all in yellow color. So I'll just save it. Okay. And generate it. Generate. That's it. I won't be doing any changes over here, but still value is coming as yellow for one of the object. Now let's do one thing. Now this is your derived role and Z test is your master role. Now go to your master role, go to authorizations tab, go to change data, and here you will see this new option added. Now, once you have created your derived roles, like say you want to create 100 derived roles or 200 derived roles based on the request. Once that is done, you have to click on this icon. This icon is nothing but it will push all the authorization object values to your derived roles. Now, previous to this, you are getting yellow in that role, right? Now, let's see what all values we are having. See, both is green. So that's the purpose of creating derived roles. You are not adding any, and what all is possible under derived roles, you cannot add authorization objects in derived roles. See, this option is disabled for me, correct? So you cannot add T codes under derived roles. Whatever you want to add it in derived roles, that must be added in master role first. Once you add it in the master role and generate derived roles from master role, then all the values of master roles will be pushed to derived roles. Right now it's showing two T codes. Let me open that master role. Just a minute. Let's open new screen. Let me close this. Z test. Okay, let's go to this new one. And let me add new T code. Let's add SU53. Send transaction. Go to authorizations, expert mode. Click on save. Save, generate, and push the values. Okay. Now see, under derived role, you will see these changes automatically. /MPFCG. Okay. So I haven't done any changes in this one, but here you can see three objects, right? This SU53 is coming automatically. So that's the benefit of creating master and derived roles. So you cannot add T codes and derived roles directly, but what all you can do the changes that I'll show you. Okay, this is already logged. Okay, so let's go to this change authorization data. Okay, I haven't activated any authorization object. Just a minute. Okay, I have to log out first. GRC and okay, so let me open that transaction and I have to add something related to organizational level. Let me add FV60. FV60. Okay, so basically, right now we don't have anything so which we can enable this option. So basically, whatever values you are getting over here, you cannot change it under this derived role, but whatever field values you are getting over here, that you can change it. Okay, but right now over here, I don't have any changes and this system is down. Okay, let me try. Okay, then I think we will continue tomorrow then. I need access to this ECC system or this S4 HANA is down currently. So basically, I'll tell you how it will go on. So for master roles, you can do changes at tree code and authorization object level, but in derived role, rest all will remain same. Only you can click on this organizational level values and you can maintain your fields like plant, company code over there, whatever values you want to give. Okay, so all those values once you set up, you can save and generate, and this role is ready. Okay, so this will reduce your time in creating multiple single rows. Instead of multiple single rows, you can create multiple derived role for a single row. Okay, and for creating master, derived, and single role, there's one option called this one. This option. This is for creation of single role, master role, as well as derived role. Now let me show you one composite role. Z test underscore C. Composite role is nothing but a combination of single composite, single master, and derived roles. Okay, so see, here you are not having any option to create or add T code over here because this is just for a combination of roles. You can assign user, and under roles tab, you can assign your roles. So just now I created C underscore test, right? C underscore test, CC100, CC100. Correct. So these two roles just now I created. So I have merged these two roles under this roles, this composite role, and I will save. That's it. So composite role is nothing but a logical container under which you can combine your single roles, master roles, and derived roles. Okay, understood? So four types of roles we can create it with the help of PFCG. One is single role. Second one is single or master role. Third one is derived role from existing master role. And fourth one is composite. If you want, these two options will give you create access. This one will give you change access if you want to do any changes in existing role. This one will give you display access. If you want to copy one existing role to a new role, then you can use this option. Like just now, this one. If I'll click on copy, you can provide your new role name C1. Copy all. Copy all means you can copy entire data, but copy selectively means copy all means you are copying T code stuff, roles stuff, and user mapping as well. But in copy selectively, you can choose which one you need to copy. So mostly we are not copying direct user assignments. Even if you will choose that copy all, that means your whatever users is assigned to your existing role, all those roles will be assigned to this new role also. But mostly that won't happen. So that's why this direct user assignments we do not choose. Rest all things we selected. Okay, and you can copy it. So see, new composite role created. Yes. So right now it's asking whether you want to copy this old roles to new roles. So you can mark it as yes. So even these two single roles will be copied to new roles. See, composite role created. Now let's check this role Z test C1 session BFCG Z test C1 display. Under this you will see two new single roles. Correct. So that's how it goes. Delete for deleting the rows. Transport. So in our scenario, we are creating roles in dev system. Okay, I think we already come down to 9. So team, any questions still here? Rajesh, Hema. So we will continue this session tomorrow.
Can we get any reference document?
Reference document, I think you will be getting this recording session. So you can create your documents based on these sessions. And you can do your testing as well. You can create some test IDs, try to create test IDs, try to create test roles, assign those roles, play with the system. So basically you need, if you want to learn, create your test data, create your test users, test roles, assign those roles to a user, do some hit and trials, identify what all you can do it from your end. That's how you will learn. Even you can create document on your own because this recording will be shared with you. So you can just go through the recording and just prepare a document for yourself.
So any like a list of like whatever we are using in the codes now, you have any kind of material for that?
I can provide you the T code names. If you want to prepare a document, you can prepare it.
Okay.
Or I'll ping you this chat window just a minute. Then you can note it down. Chat. From where I'll get the chat option.
I don't have actually this.
Okay. Then I'll just do one thing. I'll create a text document. Important keywords. User maintenance. U01. Role maintenance. PFCG. Table C16. Table name for user. USR star. USR star means USR 010203. That's how it goes. USR 01, 2, USR, I think 22 it's there. Okay. For user and for role, it will start from AGR underscore AGR star. AGR star. Mostly it consists of AGR underscore define, AGR underscore 1251, AGR underscore 1252, AGR underscore AGRS. Okay. Yes. Team, any questions on this? Anything that you want to discuss?
No.
Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll upload it in this link.
Actually, if we get any reference document, it would be helpful because we are working, right? So, like every time we can't go and see the recording, no. So, I mean, suppose if we get any doubt suddenly, so document seeing document, so it will be easy to continue
So as
the.
of now, we don't have any document, but I'll check with Geeks team if they are having any document for this. So if there is any document, they will share it with.
Okay.
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 Rajesh, any questions from your end?
No, no.
Okay. Then I think we are good to close the call. Okay. Thank you, team.
Thank you.